Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week. It's not surprising that the residents of the deep sea waters of the world are so many that numbers can't even begin to qualify. Deep sea diving could mean many different things to people. To fishers, it basically means parts of the sea relatively below the continental shelf. To scientists, it means the sea is beyond the layer while heating and cooling from sunlight cease to have an effect above the seafloor. Several decades later, the deep unknown waters are still randomly revealing the creepy, crawly things that go bump in the water. So here's a list of 10 of those things, and please don't forget to hold your breath. Number 10. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. Coming in at number 10 is a Star Wars missing prop. Just kidding, but close enough. In 2011, there was a deep sea diving team called the Ocean X Team. However, if we're honest, it's not a very original name. Anyway, the team discovered this anomaly, a huge object in the Bothnia region of the Baltic Sea. The team, headed by Swedish explorer Peter Lindberg, had stumbled upon a strange circular entity hundreds of feet beneath the Baltic Sea waters. In case you're wondering where this is precisely, it's somewhere in northern Europe, bordered by Sweden and eastern Denmark. The discovery of the Baltic Millennium Falcon, that's what we're calling it, caused several conspiracy theories to rise. Many UFOologists use it as an "aha, I told you so" moment, trying to use it as proof that aliens had in fact visited the Earth. Sadly, the victory moment was short-lived. The team returned a few years later with a remotely operated vehicle, ROV, and thoroughly scouted the thing. As they lowered the ROV, they were shocked at how crazy their compass went. The closer they went, the more berserk the needle went. They finally agreed that the object was not extraterrestrial, but merely a man-made part of stone walls buried in the ocean floor. Still, the reason why all compasses and technology went dead as they got closer remained a mystery, and even their conclusion on what it really was might not have been solid. Number 9. Great Blue Hole, Belize. The Great Blue Hole is the world's largest sinkhole, measuring an incredible 984 feet across and roughly 410 feet deep. Back in 1971, underwater explorer Jacques Cousteau first discovered this phenomenon and put it on the map. Several decades later, Cousteau's grandson, Fabien, and a few other researchers formed a team and embarked on an odyssey into the hole. The hole was a giant marine sinkhole. Think Dangerous Vortex in a futuristic movie, off the coast of Belize. Inside this ancient formation, not a single molecule of oxygen can be found. Hydrogen sulfate is found as a dense layer in the hole, only getting thicker the deeper you go. Not one species of sea life would dare to pass through the layer. Anything that fell into the hole would decompose and remain a shrunken husk for all eternity. The team also came across the bodies of 2 divers who had fallen into the blue hole and through the thick chemical layer. Tragic. Number 8. Atlit Yam Ruins, Israel. Almost 3,500 feet out in the Mediterranean Sea, near Israel, a small ancient village lives hidden beneath the waves. This is Atlit Yam, a 430,000 square feet village that had sunk long ago, but had stayed so well preserved that human skeletons lie undisturbed in their graves. Animal bones littered the premises, showing that they had already discovered how to domesticate plants and animals. The site was dated from around 7000 BC, which meant it was one of the earliest and largest drowned settlements known. These ancient remains were first discovered in 1984 by a marine archaeologist named Ehud Galil. Atlit Yam was almost perfectly preserved to the point that weevils still sat in the grain stores, and a mysterious circle still stands at where it was first erected. No one knew who these people were or how they lived, but it was an unprecedented insight into the Neolithic times and how people lived. Number 7. Underwater Stonehenge. You might be familiar with the ancient group of standing stones on Salisbury Plain in England, popularly referred to as the Stonehenge. But did you know that this fancy century-old stone deco had a twin right under the sea? No? Well, here is the underwater Stonehenge found in a lake in Switzerland. Marine archaeologists claim that the intricate stone arrangement was not made by nature, but instead by man. The monument had hypothetically been submerged in the lake, thanks to global warming or some significant way of the Earth's evolution, and now resided in Lake Constance. While that seemed like a good enough explanation, there remain some bits to be concerned about. The stones were not visible from above, and researchers who had initially dated the arrangement to no more than 3,000 years back were in for a surprise. How wrong they had been. The 17,700 cubic feet phenomenon was poked at some more, and not disappointingly, some fascinating facts were discovered. The land Stonehenge marine sibling was honestly just doing the most. Why it was there, when it first came to be, and who or what made it are questions that still have not gotten direct answers. Number 6. Yonaguni Complex. The Yonaguni Complex has been one of Japan's greatest aquatic mysteries. The complex, or monument as it's also called, is a submerged rock formation off the coast of Yonaguni, an inhabited island of Japan, Ryukyu. The complex included extremely detailed architecture with several odd rock formations. It was discovered in 1995 by an underwater diver, Kihachiro Aratake. A marine geologist at the University of the Ryukyus in Japan was convinced otherwise. Each time he returned to the site to a little digging around, swimming around, but you get it. He was more convinced than ever that what he had in front of him were the remains of a 5,000-year-old city. He was convinced that the formation of 5 sandstones and mudstones could be Japan's very own Atlantis. A professor from Boston University, Robert Scotch, was certain that the monument was not human-made, but all natural. Number 5. Bimini Road. Speaking of ancient underwater cities, here's something you might like to see. The Bimini Road is located near North Bimini Island. It is only 18 feet deep and, as such, is a hotspot for exploring scuba divers to jump in and take a look. But since its discovery in 1968, scientists and researchers have been unable to determine what it is. At first, the divers thought they had stumbled upon cemented structures under the water. On further poking and prodding, they realized that what they were looking at was a half-mile-long linear feature composed of rough sub-rectangular and rectangular limestone blocks, which ranged in size. The strange shapes, coupled with the limestone composition, made the scientists think that it was an underwater road of sorts that had sunk. The stone, however, did not have any tool marks on the surface, suggesting they were human-made. Hence, another controversy. Many hopeless mythology lovers wanted to believe that the Bimini Road was a pathway to the lost city of Atlantis. Number 4. Ancient city of Pavlopetri. Located a considerable distance off the Peloponnesian coast is the secret antique treasure, the ancient city of Pavlopetri. Or is it? Dating back 5,000 years old, the site, which had been named the UNESCO World Heritage Site, was discovered in 1904, revealing so much information about the ancient civilization that once lived there. The city was said to have peaked in resources and population just as Western civilization started to rise. Pavlopetri is unexplainably well maintained and extremely difficult to access. After studies had been conducted on the city and its infrastructure, the discoveries made it riveting. Unlike other sunken civilizations, Pavlopetri actually had clear human-made constructions with a visible, comprehensive town plan, with streets and tombs all intact. How the city has remained standing for thousands of years with not a stone out of place still causes concern and more questions for researchers and scientists. Number 3. Bermuda Triangle. This loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean has suspiciously been the same area where an alarming number of ships and aircraft have disappeared. For decades, this fabled triangle has captured the human imagination with these unexplainable disappearances and puzzled scientists about its origins and true nature. Some people speculate that unknown and mysterious forces account for the disappearances and disaster of the extraterrestrial friends we know and love, aliens. The US Navy and Coast Guard, however, don't share that fantasy. Now it's time for today's best pick. This was sent in by a subscriber, so if you come across any intriguing pictures that you might like to know more about, be sure to send them to us. You might just be lucky enough to have it featured. Number 2. Rare locomotives. In 2013, archaeologists discovered a train graveyard off the coast of New Jersey, where 2 rare locomotives from the 1800s lay preserved under 90 feet of water. Explorers believe that they were lost in a storm a few miles off the coast while being transported from Boston to the mid-Atlantic. Mystery solved, right? Not really. The explanation was baseless because there weren't even records of them ever being built. Talk little of a record of them being lost. So where did they come from? From over 170 years, you might be shocked to find out that underneath the rust and sedimentation, they were in pretty good shape. It's a wonder how they managed to be so well preserved after all those years, and how they even got there in the first place. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works. Number 1. The Devil's Sea. Need we say more? Just look at that name, the Devil's Sea. It also has other not creepy names like the Dragon's Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle. Not creepy at all. This region has often been tied to paranormal activity and an undeniably significant number of disappearances. You might notice the semblance between this and the Bermuda Triangle. In 1955, a Japanese ship suddenly lost radio contact right out of a Hollywood scene and was nowhere to be found. A few days later, the ship was actually found, safe and sound. Other ships, however, have not been so lucky. Several other ships were recorded to have just disappeared out of thin air on calm waters with perfect weather. No explanation, no rediscoveries, nothing. This is, sadly, where we say goodbye for now. We've come to the end of this video, and we sure hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please make sure not to be stingy with those likes and hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more awesome content. Thank you for watching. Take care.